Okay. Yes, John. I'm John. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm John. I'm Chief Creative at Helios Interactive. We're an experience design shop here in San Francisco. And we create lots of fun and engaging experiences for people to play with out in the world. We work at stadiums. We work in retail environments. We work in music venues. We work all over the place. And we bring things that people play with out in the real world. But they're branded experiences. So they're experiences for Nike and Google and Intel and IBM and all kinds of things. South by Southwest, we have a piece over here that you can play with that's for State Farm that's at, that went to on the music circuit. So at Bonnaroo or at Lollapalooza, you could go into a tent, you could have a tablet, you could play this AR game that taught you how to save money by having a house and auto insurance at the same time, right? So this is all like, how do you gamify these kind of branded experiences? And that's kind of what we do. We have another piece over there that's a Sprint HoloLens experience that was at a conference, trade show conference, Mobile World Congress is what it's called, and it's like this massive, mobile conference, and they wanted to show off what G5 is going to do. You all heard of G3 and G4. Well, this is G5. It's coming. It's coming soon. So it's like a hologram that sits there and it shows you the city and shows you what G5 is going to do for you. So if there's an ambulance and it needs to get through traffic, it would take all the self-driving cars and move them out of the way so the ambulance can go. And you have to have that in real time. You have to have it in speed of light, as they say. So this is what we are. We do lots of fun things out at Levi Stadium for fans that are fans. Sports fans are the best fans ever. They'll do anything. They will play any game. They will be your best friend. So we've got VR experience that we did for them. We are a bunch of developers. We're producers, technology experts. We have designers, both UX, UI, graphics, motion graphics. We've got CG people, environmentalists, etc. So all these people that help us make these experiences. We have a QA department that actually makes sure the stuff works before it goes out. That's a nice thing to have. And operations, so we've got people that on the ground that are going all over the world and installing these things and making sure the stuff is up and running and clients are happy. I'll let Mike explain some of these fun things that we do too.
Thanks, John. So I'm Mike Schaiman. I'm a managing director at Helios, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about how the brands that we work with are utilizing AR. Because most of the exposure that you guys in this room have, most of the consumers around the country and around the world have, is experiencing it through media and entertainment, right? Pokemon Go has gotten beaten to death, but it's valuable in that it was one of the first experiences a lot of people had. It was eye-opening for a lot of individuals.
It's good for sales.
It was really good for sales. And a lot of the brands that we work with, that caused them to sit up and take notice. They'd like to dip their toe in the water of new technologies and work with, they hear about virtual reality, they hear about augmented reality, but they don't necessarily understand it. And our role at Helios is to help those brands tell their stories and get their messages across to very specific audiences in unique ways. So augmented reality has been a really powerful tool to do that for us. And I think we've actually gotten a lot more AR stuff than we have VR. And 2 years of tons and tons of VR work is actually transitioning into augmented reality. So it's really great to see a lot of interest in the audience here tonight because, boy, it is poised to explode. I'm going to talk specifically about one of our clients, Infosys. Infosys is a company that does data and analytics, allows companies to achieve insights based on how they parse their data. And so they wanted to create a unique experience at their Confluence conference. So this is where they have their top 100 clients. And their 100 clients are typically Fortune 500 folks. So you have anybody from a Walmart that's using their services to automotive clients to, in this case, they wanted to showcase the aviation industry. So the experience they wanted to create actually encapsulated a really interesting problem. And I thought this was kind of interesting. Every time an airplane lands, it actually generates 1 terabyte of data. That's a lot of data. That is a very esoteric story. It's a very challenging story to tell using a video or using a touchscreen or through different means, right? Plus, it's tough to get somebody engaged when you're at an event and there's a lot of people around and there's a touchscreen experience and you walk up to screen and you're very close and trying to do things and you're a little bit separated from everybody else in your environment. So for us, the trick was esoteric story, challenging story to tell, unique environment. How do we get people engaged? How do we allow lots of people to share this experience and kind of create a community around this? And then how do we get people to aggregate in a spot and then provide them a really spectacular experience? So hopefully when I click this, it's going to go to the video. Or do you want to click the video? Beep.
Nope.
Nope. Back.
Can you click on AR? Nope.
Back.
Yes.
Yeah, the underlined AR is a link.
Nope.
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 One moment, please. So what we're going to show you guys actually features, so this was actually a Google Tango project, and obviously Google Tango is no longer, having transitioned into the AR Core universe within Google, but go ahead and play the video so you guys can get a sense of what happened at the event itself. So what you'll see here is oversized thematic landing gear. Everybody loves oversized thematic objects.
So what you're watching is somebody's looking at the model. It's a physical model of the landing gear. And as they're walking around it, they're getting information off the landing gear. And because it was Google Tango, it actually knew where it was in space. And so you could actually walk all the way around this thing and get information, get different storylines that come out. One of their stories was, how do you replace the brakes? Well, the guy could go out and he could show it at the brakes, and the brake information would come out and show you how to do that replacement. There's a lot of really amazing kind of data vision that you can do with AR.
And something to think about. And so what we're doing here is kind of setting the table for you guys to show how some people out there are using it. And then I know Tyler, who's the head of UX on our team, who's going to get up and speak right after us, is going to talk about the actual interaction design in the tablet. But it's also important to consider environment, because what you saw there were multiple people looking at a screen and engaging with one another. And so while a lot of the UX is actually important to have on the right places and allow the right navigation for a user on the screen, it's also about knowing what environments they're in and what is around them and what that's going to be like. So you can actually design for physical spaces. That might be very different if it's a consumer app that you can't control when somebody's at downloading something from an app store. But it is a very different experience when we do B2B applications and create B2B opportunities. A couple other pieces that I'll talk to, and Tyler's actually going to show the videos of these. A piece we did for Medtronic, and this was a really interesting one because AR at its core, and this is before AR Core and AR Kit, so now it feels a little bit more primitive, but we utilize this as a case study companion. In the medical world, Medtronic is a medical product manufacturer, right? They make stents for hearts and things that surgeons use, and so the way that they communicate that right now is through case studies, and those are typically paper case studies. The medical industry is incredibly archaic when it comes to how that is all folding out. So for them, they wanted to be able to provide value. This is not the wow factor that they want people to engage with and play for an extended period of time. They wanted to say, hey, here is a technology that can help us create shortcuts, because the one thing surgeons don't have is time, right? They are all about making their lives as efficient as possible. So if you can look at a paper case study and hold up their own device and hit view a particular object or image within that experience, they can actually get case study information that's incredibly important for them. So that is the type of experience, and I think you have a video playing on in the background there. But that type of experience and be able to shortcut so they don't have to go online, it saves them 2-3 minutes. But that 2-3 minutes is really valuable. And that's the kind of thing that we're seeing in a B2B space, is actually adding value to an experience, moving past the wow factor, and actually creating something that is going to provide a unique amount of value for a consumer or for a client. And with that,
turn you over to
think we'll
Ty.
turn it back over to, and Andy, I don't know if you want to step up or if we should bring in Ty. Helios. Helios.
Don't tell anybody.
I know, it's a very challenging.
Helios.
Oh,
there you go.
okay. Sorry, Ty. We're showing the, I guess they're showing the Medtronic app. So this is actually the Medtronic app itself. And so what you're getting here is, again, that printed case study that a doctor is taking off of a show floor, out of a hospital. They're using their device, and they're actually able to immediately access these pieces of information, right? So we have in here the actual 3D product so they can browse and learn a little bit more about it. And that's an interesting, sexy piece that Medtronic wanted us to include. It's actually less valuable than actual patient information that you're going to see here at the bottom. When they hit another part of that case study, it actually automatically brings up a menu that has information that could be critical for them to access and access in a quick way. So this is a beta project that we're working with Medtronic on to showcase what the potential of augmented reality in the medical field is. But it's one that we're really excited about, and we're starting to see more unique applications for augmented reality in that space. Great. And with that, John, you want to bring in Ty?
Yep. So I'm going to introduce my good friend Ty Wilson, who's...
Oh,
you
you
can
go
introduce
in.
him.
Take Ty. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.